What else do we have on the list? And G2 came up earlier. I almost went into this and suddenly changed my direction. Obviously, they are sitting quite far above the pack at the moment in the standings. What do you think it is that separates them and their play style from the rest of the pack?
I think they're just separated from not just Europe, but the world. With and the way I describe it is just the one word: consistency. Is that on a good day, and we're playing well, I think we could beat G2, and I think we could beat them. But we don't always have those good days. Sometimes we have a bad day. Sometimes we're mediocre. Sometimes we make a couple of mistakes, but we pull it through. But they don't seem to make those mistakes right now. I don't know if it's because they've been playing together so long as a roster, but their level of play is so consistently high. And that's the difference, right? They're not unbeatable. It's just that you couldn't beat them 10 times in a row, because the consistency that they've got is that they're more likely to beat you 10 times in a row, because they're not going to mess up one of those games, whereas you're going to mess up maybe 2, you know?
Maybe that comes down to what Fabian and London talk about that resetting mentality thing, and just their general mentality on the game, where they maybe don't play as emotionally as a lot of other teams.
Well, yeah, I think playing emotionally is both like a gift and a burden, right? Like, we're quite an emotional team, and when things go right, we play even better. And that's a thing. Like, if we're doing well and we're feeling good and we're playing against a team like G2, we'll win rounds, we'll kill them, we'll do really well. But if it takes a turn for a worse, then someone's going to get a bit disheartened, and that's going to show in the way they speak, and then the team morale will go down. And that's the disadvantage of being an emotional team, is that you'll play worse. It's like a trade-off, right? Whereas maybe they're robots.
That resetting is them being turned on and off again. Just plugged into the wall. It's interesting. They are, I think the consistency, it's been a running theme when we've been doing things like the pre-shows and post-shows here and looking at the week-by-week gameplay. And it's primarily the French teams and the Latin American teams. Much more passionate cultures to begin with.
Yeah.
And so I think we've been sort of arguing the point that sometimes the consistency we see out of the French teams and the Latin American teams is sometimes because they play more emotionally. So when it goes, as you say, for Secret, like when it goes well, it goes well, but when it goes badly, it goes horribly.
Yeah.
I
think that's amplified, but like by some magnitude, especially with Latam teams. Like, we see them either playing really well and hitting every single shot, or it just kind of crumbles.
It's interesting because it's like G2 has a lot of people from different kind of colder regions. You know, you've got a Swedish player, you've got a Finnish player, you've got a Danish player, and then you've got Goga, who's one from a more Latin region. And it's like, oh, is he the odd man out? Is that why he has so games where he's just on a killing streak, and then games where he's just planting, and that's about it?
I don't know. It's obviously when you're getting killed, it's a lot about your opportunities as well, right? Like, obviously Goga doesn't have that much opportunity to show off how good he is, and in the same way, let's say Pengu has more opportunities to kill people because of the roles he plays. It's like, obviously we look at a lot of players and we go, oh well, if you ask anyone to make a best team players in the world list, it'll just be 5 fraggers, you know, and obviously they get the kills, but that's they're in the opportunity to do so. So Goga's a fantastic player, and maybe it does take some role. Maybe he's a bit more emotional than the rest of the team, but I haven't played him enough to tell. But obviously, when he doesn't get kills, it's not necessarily that he's in a bad mood. He might just not have the opportunity to. He might walk in and instantly get C4'd. You know, it's not his fault.
That definitely happens, especially for Thermite players, I got to imagine.
Yeah.
Speaking of consistency, then, and G2,